tall. Words are blades that never fall. Debate like warriors brave. Every thought we give and save. Through the noise we cut clean. Spirited minds sharp and keen. With a spark that lights the night. Join us in this epic fight. Welcome to the sports in our arena, where minds clash and thoughts gleam. In the heat of every word, truth and insight will be heard. Buckle up and take your stance. In this arena there's no chance to escape the vibrant lore. Diving deep and search for more. From heartfelt talks to fierce debates, we explore what fate creates. Side by side we seek the light. In the dark our minds ignite. Welcome to the sports in our arena, where minds clash and thoughts gleam. In the heat of every word, truth and insight will be heard. Will be heard. Will be heard. In the ring we stand tall. Words of blades that never fall. Debate the warriors brave. Every thought we give and save. In the ring we stand tall. Words of blades that never fall. Debate like warriors brave. Every thought we give and save. Through the noise we cut clean. Spirited mind sharp and keen. With a spark that lights the night. Join us in this epic fight. Welcome to the sports in arena, where minds clash and thoughts gleam. In the heat of every word, truth and insight will be heard. Buckle up and take your stance. In this arena, there's no chance to escape the fight by lore. Diving deep in the search for more. From heartfelt talks to fierce debates, we explore what fate creates. Side by side we seek the light. In the dark our minds ignite. Welcome talks to fierce debates, we explore what fate creates. Side by side we seek the light. In the dark our minds ignite. Welcome to the sports in arena, where minds clash and thoughts gleam. In the heat of every word, truth and insight will be heard. Buckle up and take your stance. In this arena, there's no chance to escape the fight by lore. Diving deep in the search for more.
What is going on, everybody? We're back at another stream, another live. You know where you're at. You're at Spartan HQ Network. I'm your host, Spartan, aka Peter. So, tonight's show is going to be about toxic passion versus stable love. In other words, toxic relationship with versus a stable relationship without toxic. And unfortunately, a lot of us has been through both of these battles. I've been through a great relationship and a toxic relationship. And when you're in a toxic relationship, you only think you're in love, you care and all this stuff. But in reality, you're not. You're trapped. You don't know how to get out of it. And that is the worst part of it. And that can be problematic at times. People think as men we don't deal with this toxic relationship stuff. But unfortunately we do. We do more than we want to admit because we don't come down to the point that we are proud of it. We are embarrassed to talk about it. We don't want to say anything about it. And that is the scariest part as men. And that is the problem we have as men. We're embarrassed to say it because we're scared what our friends are going to say, how they're going to react towards us. They're going to make fun of us. And that is the issue sometimes. Unfortunately, we as men need to get out of that mindset. If it gets to the point that is mental and physical toxic, you need to find an exit plan to get out of that. And I mentioned this multiple times on the show. I've been into that relationship, toxic wise, and I thought I was in love with her. I want to be with her. I want to marry her. But reality, it wasn't healthy for me, mentally or physically. How do you trust somebody after that? That is the question I asked myself afterwards. And which are the red flags you need to watch out? That is the other question I asked myself. How to not get into that relationship, into a toxic situation again after that. And that is the hardest part as a man, asking yourself, looking in the mirror. Besides the point you think you're a good man, a bad man, whatever, it doesn't matter. But what does matter is how do you overcome that? How do you become better from that? That is the question to yourself, to your loved ones. The first thing people are going to say to you is they're going to be worried about you. I cannot tell you how many people were worried about me when I was in that relationship. And what came full circle, and at the point I didn't know she was cheating on me. What came around is full circle for me was I was on vacation. I was hanging out with my buddy CQ, and his wife had a conversation with me, and she didn't tell me that obviously she knew she was cheating on me. She did care. She cared about me too much to hurt me like that, but she took it a different route. Meaning, like she was already hitting menopause, early menopause, and we didn't know that. At least I didn't know that. She did know that. She was hiding that from me the whole time. And the one thing I really wanted from her was okay, that's all I really wanted. Yes, I wanted the marriage, I wanted the house, I wanted the dog, I wanted everything from her. But knowing, that at the time, I probably would have reacted a little different. I didn't know that. So, except her telling me, CQ's wife telling me, oh, she's cheating on you, she sat down and told me, like, then once you have kids, and like something's going on with her, she tried to take a different route. And when I sat down and just spoke to her when I got back, like, listen, we gotta get working here, girl. Like, time is ticking. And that's where she dropped the bomb. She's already in early menopause. It, at the time, I was defending her, saying, she was going through a lot. Before I came into the picture, she was drinking a lot. She was smoking a lot. That has a lot of factors in it. But I didn't know behind closed doors, behind my back, she was cheating on me the whole time. Yeah. So that's the part of the toxic for me. And that bothered me. So I find out this out to almost 2 years later. And I found out through the grapevine, not directly through the grapevine. So after, during our breakup, it was kind of a little a weird time for me because I was the account I was working for, we were losing that account. So I had to find what we call a new home, a new location to work for. And I did. So when my time there ended, my contract ended there, so I went somewhere else. And it was at a different health network. And I was nervous to apply there at first, to be honest with you guys. I didn't want to bump into her. I didn't want to work with her. It would have been very odd and strange at the same time. Keep in mind, if you guys watched some of my old episodes, I did meet her through work. Disclosure, guys, I'll be honest with you, never, never, never date at work. If you're going to date at work, make sure you're in different departments. I was not only dating at work, I was also dating in my same department. Both no nos. I don't ever recommend that for anybody. So me and another manager were talking, and she heard a story, a very familiar story. She used to make jokes like when she threw the garden scissor at me, beat the crap out of me. She thought it was funny. She used to joke about this for a while. And thought it was funny. And I keep telling her when we're together, that's not funny. That's something to be brag about because that's not normal. So as we're talking, and she knew who she was. And I set her to the side and I told her, listen, and my ex's wasn't, her name was Lizzie. And I told her, listen, Lizzie's my ex. I kind of, so hang on. Before I move on with my story, let's get my boy in here. He gets a kick out of this every time. Do you lose breath when you do that?
No.
Let me ask you a question before we get back to my story. All right.
Okay.
Are you even a Dragon Ball Z fan?
A who fan?
Dragon Ball Z.
Honestly, no.
You know that's from Dragon Ball Z, right?
Yeah, I kind of figured because a lot of like some of my friends are either into Dragon Ball Z, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I've never. I guess I missed out. I don't know, but
Dude, I'm not a big fan of Dragon Ball, but Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super, you definitely need to go back and watch.
okay,
And you're gonna fall in love with it.
okay.
So, as I was saying, did you hear my part of my story yet or no?
No, I just I heard some of it when I was getting myself set up.
Okay, so pretty much, very backstory, very fast. I was in a toxic relationship for 3.5 years. My ex was cheating on me the whole time. She was physical and verbally abusive towards me.
Oh wow.
I'm whammy. And most men, including myself, are embarrassed to say, "Hey, I need help to get out of this relationship because I'm getting abused." That's facts. You can look up the aesthetics.
No, no, true. Because a lot of people don't realize any guy that's involved in a situation like that, it's hard for them to come out and say something because who's going to believe them?
Exactly.
Oh, wait a minute. How can she be abusive? And especially when it comes to different sizes. Say the woman's 5'3", and the
That's
guy's
the funny part because I'm 5'8", all right? And
okay.
I'm pretty sure me and you are about the same height, right?
Yeah, just about.
She's 5'5",
Mm,
120, 130 pounds, 140 on a bat, and you know, if she's gaining a little weight, right?
wow.
And so the night that this shit hit the fucking fan,
Uh-huh.
uh, we were arguing for a couple days. I can't remember what we were arguing about. All right,
Right.
and so I came to the conclusion maybe we need to take a step back. I'll find somewhere else to live,
Right.
and because my mother obviously is in a big picture of me, and she was living with us, and like I'll find somewhere else to live, and we take a little back burner, not end the relationship. Maybe just let's take a like 2 steps back. All right, maybe we moved in too fast. All right,
Okay.
the relationship did move really, really, really fast. I'm not going to deny that. That was the first problem, number one. All right,
Okay.
so she was drinking very heavily. She was always a big drinker. Dominican, give you that. And like, there's your first fucking problem, my dear dude.
Like, ooh.
But I know a lot of sweet Dominicans out there, so I don't want to put a title on any race out there. That's
Right.
not
No,
fucking fair.
I get that.
Yeah. So, and we had our joint accounts. We go part of me, moving out. So I'll get my own. I'll take my number off your account and my father's, and we're gonna do our thing. And I think because I'm not living with you, there's no point in having the same account. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I ended up getting a new phone. Because my phone at the time was acting up weird. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And next thing I know, and I left my old phone on the table, not thinking like, what's the big deal? I got myself a new phone. We're not under the same roof at this point. We are living in the same roof, but I'm looking for a place. So I'm moving on to something for me, and we're not ending the relationship. We're just taking a step back.
Right.
When she saw that phone, she started slapping me right and left. And this is aside of front of the house, by the way, at a porch. All right.
Oh wow.
First thing I did, most people think, oh, you put hands on her. No, no, no. I was smarter than that, my man.
Yeah.
I took my hands, I put them behind my back. I'll let her hit me. Because when the cops showed up, and they did show up, who are they going to check first?
Exactly.
They checked me. They checked my hands first. So she pushed me off the deck, off the porch. I should say, not the deck, the porch.
Okay.
She says, get the fuck out of my house. The first thing she grabs is the garden scissor,
Oh wow.
puts you behind her back, and swings. I saw that thing. I'm like in slow matrix mode. I'm go, oh fuck me. I cut a left. As I cut the left, if I was maybe 2 steps ahead of that, I would have missed it. Boom, right in my fucking back.
Ooh.
Before I literally was grabbing my phone and said, fuck this. I'm not gonna let anybody abuse me. I was gonna call the cops on her ass. I'm not denying that.
Mm.
My neighbor yelled out, like, don't worry, the cops are on the way already. I already called them for you, dude. And then fucking kids are her kids are not young. They're not young. Her oldest was 25 at a time.
Oh wow.
Her oldest daughter was 25. Her youngest daughter and oldest boy were 21.
Oh, so they were already adults.
Yeah, and her youngest son was 17.
Oh wow.
So as that's happening, all right, they're calling her sister like, shit, the cops on our way. What do we do? The cops showed up. It was pouring rain. I mean, it was pouring. Like, to the point I was like drenched. Like, you ever seen it, like, in the shower and like water's dripping straight? That's how hard it was raining. And I went up to the cops and I explained to them that side story. It goes like, the first thing they asked me was, can I see your hands? I looked
Mm.
at the cops like, why my hands? I'm the one who got assaulted here. He goes, can I see your hands? Like, sure. Okay, you didn't hit anybody. Like, would she hit you on my back? I'm like, can you lift your shirt, please? Like, I go, yeah, she got you pretty good, bro. So they let me back in the house and all this stuff. And And the senior officer on site, he goes to me, "Yeah, she's been drinking pretty heavily." I'm like, "No shit, thank you, Captain Fucking Obvious." I was like, just like that.
Obvious.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not fucking like, I'm like, "Oh, well, we're recommending you going to somewhere else for the night." Mom wasn't feeling good, so I rushed her to the hospital.
Right.
And I told him, like, listen, I gotta leave my dog. I gotta get her to the hospital. Ambulance came in and everything. Like, I'm arguing with him. Like, I'm not taking, like, I'm not asking you to take my fucking dog, dude. I'm telling you, I'm coming back to get my dog. And then after the officer, like, and we're like, dude, he's not asking you to come back. He's telling you he's gonna come back, pick up the dog, and leave. Oh, yeah, that's fine, completely fine. So we stayed at a hotel or whatever, and the non-yards went down. PFAs, and the worst you got a PFA. PFA instead of Pennsylvania stands for a strain order
Right.
for 90 days. That's all it was. Little slap on the wrist. She was getting fined. It got dropped because it was not enough evidence on her. But if that was me in that case, who's going to be in handcuffs or bracelets in the end of the day? I was saying
Exactly.
this guy.
Exactly.
So the only thing I did wrong, I should have argued with the cop more. And I said, listen, dude, this is not fucking right. If that was me, you could put me in handcuffs. But I didn't want to air it. I was more focused on my mom's health because her heart was bothering her. And that's more a priority than putting her in jail that day. So, since a couple weeks later, I'm sorry, just give me a second chance. She cleaned up her act for a while. Then she went back to her own ways after a little bit.
She did just enough to get back into your good grace.
And the whole time, I didn't know she was cheating on me, and she was.
Oh, wow.
I found out my best friend's wife knew about it, but she didn't want to hurt me.
You know what it is? That's what sucks, because when somebody knows what's going on, now they're put in that situation. Like, do I say something or don't I? Because now it's almost like, who are you more, not just who are you loyal to, but at the same time, you feel like this ain't my business to put out there.
See, you're right and wrong at the same time. I'll explain to you why. CQ and Jenny, Mrs. CQ, for everybody knows her, said to me, our loyalty was always with you, Pete, but we could not put ourselves to the point to hurt you. Because this was going to hurt no matter what, because we knew you were in love with her. I thought I was in love. Let me rephrase that.
Right.
So, and I go to him, I respect the way they did it. So Jenny, they were having a little get together party, and Jenny sat down and talked to me at one point, like, Pete, don't you want to have kids? And she was already going into premenopause because of a heavy drinking and heavy smoking. That's going to go straight to that. So when we got home, we got in a little bit of argument, and we realized, okay, we need to separate because you cannot give me what I want at the point. A family. So it wasn't even about the kid. Like, if she was like willing to say, listen, let's adopt, let's do a self-cesarean, something.
Right.
She wasn't even willing to do that. So fast forward 2 years later, I was working at another hospital.
Okay.
And she was working at the same hospital, not the same location, but the same company. I was where I was going to bump into her.
Basically within the same network.
Pretty much. Thank you. That's where I was looking for. And when I was talking to the manager about it, I knew him. And he goes to me, like, is it going to be a problem because Lacey works for the same company? I go, no, as long as we don't work at the same account. He goes, she doesn't work here, so you're good in my book. So fast forward a couple weeks later, me and another manager talking. She thinks it was funny the whole time afterwards. After the hit, we stayed another 2 years together.
Oh, wow. Okay.
She was joking around like this is like I beat him up. I'm like, no, it's not fucking funny.
Right.
That's not funny, because if that was the other way around, you're not going to take it. So when I was speaking to the manager, and I was telling her, I'm like, by the way, that Lizzie was my ex. Like, I kind of knew that because I kind of connected the dots. Your story and her story add up.
Right.
So before we move on, let's get our man in here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our president. I love how Anton does it perfectly.
Oh, that's Die Hard, bro. That is Die Hard.
Yeah. So really fast before I let you guys get your thoughts in, like I have a lot. Let's say I have a lot of experience in toxic relationship here. But before we let you go, I want to get a little house clean here. Let's get some of the comments in here. So Brock says, "Cause if you're a guy turns around and checks her in it, and she will know how to spin it and make you
The villain, that's
you're
true.
the villain." And that's facts.
That's true.
As men, if you put hands on a woman, you're always in the wrong, no matter what. Even she egged it and it's first to the first strike. Then he goes, they're
Their goal is to frame you as the villain / antagonist. That is
Oh, we
true.
talking about some specifics. I know on BMU's network they're talking about the whole Meg the Stallion and
Really?
so it's kind of just you're talking about this, but I think that's what they're hashing out over there. So I wasn't sure if this was specific or something personal.
No. I was using my past, for example, for a toxic, passionate relationship versus a stable love relationship. I was using that as an example for the toxic part of it. She's better being glad.
She better be glad y'all wearing a bra because you would have had equal opportunity to go upside her head back. Some places they don't see the gender dynamics when
No.
it comes to that type of nonsense. They don't. Sounds like a scene in Precious. Yeah, I saw the movie too, Braxton. Yeah, they were already grown. The kid, he's talking about the kids.
Yeah.
That sounds like a soap opera, pouring rain and everything.
What it sound like it.
Only thing they change is their clothes. Straight facts.
Facts. I'm not gonna deny it. So so I'll give you guys my personal experience with toxic relationship. Anthony, you can go first. Have you had a personal experience with toxic relationship? Because I know you're in a happy marriage right now, correct?
Yes, I am.
If your wife
Are
will
you
wait,
in a
I'll let
what?
you go to happy.
Happy? Oh, happy. I thought you said unhappy.
The closest I can say I had to a toxic relationship was one ex I had, and we were together for about a little over a year and a half. And it wasn't that it was toxic, but she was very, I won't say overbearing, but she could have been she was basically a bit demanding. And I think what it was, she went through a really ugly marriage, and I don't think she never really dealt with those issues to move forward. And I
Mhm.
think it was that, plus also her family dynamics played a role in it too. And it was a good relationship and all, but it just seemed like it was more, add more to this. She needed me to do more, do more, do more. And it was like, you know, it took a while. It took a while. Like, it took people to tell me, like, you gotta pay attention to what's going on. And it was one of those things that when you're in the situation, you don't want to see it and you try not to pay attention to it. And then when you start coming to that realization, it's like, okay, this isn't working. She's asking for too much. It's like, no matter what I do, it's not enough. And I ended it. It never got physical or anything else. It just got to the point where she was still dealing with her family dynamics and things that were going on in that situation. Over time, she ended up working at the same company I did. And I learned to look. I let that go a long time ago. Like everything that happened, I let that go. And I remember one time she and I talked, and she apologized for everything. I was like, "Listen, we're good," because it never got to the point where I did anything to her or she did anything to me. So that's why it was okay for me to just like, we're good. We still talk from time to time, like anything going on work related, like she'll tell me stuff and vice versa. But it's never, the good thing is I can honestly say it never got violent. And that's the great thing I can honestly say. Unfortunately, some people, it doesn't always end up like that. And the reason why situations like this I take serious is because there was an incident that happened at my job long time back, where a young lady was dating someone from the job. They broke up. He worked in one section, she worked in another section, and he was so he was so caught up in the fact that they weren't together when she got off of work and she was at the employee parking lot. He unfortunately deleted her.
Wow. That's
And-
going extreme.
Yeah, he got in his car, left the airport, and like, of course, people were in shock. Port Authority police came out because the employee parking lot was right by where the facilities where I used to work at. He ended up turning himself in at the toll booth on the turnpike.
Mhm.
And no one knew the dynamics of what was going on, but it was just to the point where all he had to do was just walk away. That's all he had to do, was just walk away. But he was so caught up in her, sadly, it cost her life. And still to this day, it's been, and it's hard to believe, it's been almost 25 years, a little over 25 years. And a good number of us that were there at the time it happened, we still remember it like it was yesterday. And if you go into one of the buildings, you go to the employees' break room, you'll see a plaque with her picture and her name on it in her honor. That's how much a lot of us still remember it like it was yesterday. And that was one of many examples for people to understand. And something my wife said also, love shouldn't have to hurt. Like I said, it's been over 25 years. I still remember like it was yesterday. That's the real tough part.
Yeah, I know this doesn't go with our topic,
Right.
but almost 2 years ago, November 30th, the day after my birthday, I had witnessed a murder literally outside my house.
Wow.
A 25-year-old killed a 17-year-old, point blank.
Really?
Wow. Yeah, we did a whole show on this, actually. Go back if you want to watch it, Anton,
Okay.
in the gray area. But the gunshot doesn't go away
No.
after 2 years. The shakes, none of that goes away. You still remember it like it was today. Some Travis moments, like even Alex passing, still feels like it was today. I still feel like he's gonna run through this door sometimes.
Yeah.
And even my grandmother passing, some things doesn't never go away. And it's been over 20 years she passed. Some things some pain doesn't ever go away, unfortunately. Even as much therapy you get.
Yeah, exactly.
You just try to cope with it and find out another way to live with it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. You gotta move forward.
Paul, you're up, my man. What you got on this?
All right, frame the question again.
Toxic passionate relationship versus a stable love relationship.
This is a versus. I want to meet the guy who picks the first one. Because I just don't have. I will say this. I've always been attracted to very smart women in terms of like real like physical attraction,
Right.
like really smart women who like to debate. Women can be kind of argumentative, like especially back in college. That was always something where I always connected well, and a lot of times those would turn into kind of passionate relationships. It's like we're having like a real debate, like we do on the YouTube channels and stuff. Like we're going back and forth, and you don't know what you're talking about, and this and that, and I don't know. And you're attracted to that. I mean, it's because the person has a brain. I mean, they're intelligent. I mean, intelligence is sexy, to a large extent. and it kind of goes there. The problem is it doesn't when the relationship changes, like the punches don't land the same. You know what I mean? It's like when you are friends and you're in the friend zone, you can go back and forth and come at each other hard and back and forth, and but when feelings get involved,
Ooh.
like we could tell each other shut up. Like we're arguing, right? Girl, just shut up. And he said, no, you shut. But we're friends. Like we're going at it. Like we're talking about the basketball game or the sports or whatever the topic is. And I'm talking about the opposite sex here. When you let your guard down and you allow somebody into that space, saying shut up, it doesn't land the same. It's like it's a kidney shot, it's a liver shot. It's like it just doesn't. It's like, why is this hurting? We were just debating this, I guess the week before. Now we decided we want to be a couple, and now I can't say the same things. You can't act the same way. It's like you're in a different space.
The dynamics change. That's why.
Yeah. And it just doesn't. It like I said, it's just different. So anytime I've gotten to those situations, the relationships didn't last very long because because we didn't change to be more soft and tender towards one another. It would get still passionate, or we would be passionate, but then it would be, no one knew how to dial it back. And so it got to a point where I knew that when I wanted to get married, and again, please, hopefully my wife doesn't take this the wrong way, or women in general don't take this the wrong way. I didn't need a sister that was so deep anymore. I just wanted somebody who would be my peace. Like, I like to debate. I like argument, not arguing, but argument, to make an argument. And I've had coworkers like that, and going back and forth. And like I said, there is in the back of your brain, this is kind of sexy. But I already got to a point that says, I know this will never go anywhere. Because, it's going to be very passionate. We're either going to be fighting or we're going to be frolicking. See, I keep it PG for the channel, Pete, so you don't. Wordplay, sir. Wordplay. But it's like that. I'm like, for the long term, I was like, I would have died a long time ago. You know what I mean? I value my peace. So my wife is not. We don't have these deep conversations or debates or what have you. Honestly, my wife could care less. And people will call me, when you want that in your marriage or whatever. I think one time, even King Michelle were talking about it one time, and I was like, no, my wife doesn't have to be my psychologist or psychiatrist. She doesn't have to be a person I go to solutions for. If I want like real debate or really kind of iron sharpens iron stuff, I got scores of people I can go to. I got men's groups. I got brothers who we want to get into it hot and heavy or whatever. We can get into it and be like, yo, and this is going to be like, feelings going to be hurt, near fights going to break out or whatever. But I know when I need to get into that cauldron, if you will, of men to sharpen my thinking or get me thinking in certain ways, or if I have a certain energy or whatever, a brother's going to say, nah, man, that's, that is so wrong. You are so wrong about that. You're like, what are you talking about? And we so I know where to get that. If I want that intellectual stimulation, I know where to get it. I don't need it in my home. So my wife, she likes peace just like I like peace. I'm already out there in the world, fighting with everybody else. I don't want to fight at home. And so having that second half, that peaceful, that tranquility is way more important to me. So you can have your PhD or your master's, or you could study stuff, all that stuff. And I know a lot of sisters are going in that direction and wanting, those things. That I'm not hating on any of that. I got 3 daughters. I mean, they need to be smart and effective in their vocations and in the world and whatnot. But home life, you need to know how to turn that off. But with a lot of sisters, getting their educations and getting their masters and PhD, I mean, it's growing. I'm not upset about it, but the problem is, it's almost like the smarter you get, the dumber you get in terms of how to keep a dude. Because most of us, even the smart ones, we don't want that all the time.
You gotta know when to say when.
Yeah, or just like I just want to lay on your chest. I don't want solutions. I just want to get in bed and lay on your chest and don't say nothing. But some, it's like always got to have an answer, always got to have a response. You should have did it this way. Why do you do it this way? Or this is how I would do it, and this is what you need to do. And I don't need that. Now, if I ask you in earnest, what do you think, or what should I do in this situation? Yes, I want your input, or I'll ask for your advice, but I don't need you to mother me. And a lot of times with very smart women, they think that they have the answers. They try to mother you. And it's like, look, I already had a mom. I don't need a mom anymore. I need a support. I need a base. And even if it's just a matter of don't say nothing, I just want to come home and just give me a hug. You know what I mean? Or just, I just want that. So for me, for the long term, I'm definitely going to pick the latter half. And I think a lot of brothers are wanting the same thing. So like a lot of women don't understand. It's like, wow, when they talk about why would you make a good partner? Well, I'm smart. I have a degree. I have this. I have that. That's great. That's not necessarily what I need, especially if I'm a brother who is, in his space and balling and, doing his thing. So I don't need a partner. I need a helpmate. I don't need a partner. I need someone to compliment. I need somebody who I can be totally transparent with, a protector of my secrets, a calming force, not overly talkative. Like I said, but it's attractive though. So if you can really talk and communicate and argue, I'll get into an art. Well, I don't do it as much anymore because I don't really fraternize with the opposite sex like that anymore. But when I was dating, I was always attracted to that type of woman, very opinionated, and she has points and whatnot. And I would be at the table, it's like, let's go, you and me, let's go back and forth in this debate. And you start getting these feelings, it's like, yeah, she's kind of sexy. It just so again, so I confess, it's attractive. It gets you there. It gets you into this passionate, space, and we're just going back and forth, and but you get burnt out.
That's what it is.
What's that?
You love playing chess. You tired of playing checkers.
Yeah, but but there's burnout. You know what I mean? Because like I said, that dynamic does not work for me in a romantic relationship, in an eros relationship. So it's interesting because a lot of those ladies I was like that with, we went back to we're better off being friends. Let's go back to the friend zone. Because we can't function in that space like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's just go back into the friend zone. But even that's hard because again, once the toothpaste gets out the tube, it's kind of hard to put that back. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it's kind of hard to go back to the friend zone if you've gone out of it. Say, oh, we just friends. So then you meet the new girl. It's like, oh, we just friends, and she'd be looking at you like, did you sleep with her? You know what I'm saying? It's just like, no.
Yup.
If you can have a friend, but if you've been no, absolutely not. Like that's not happening.
Honestly, if you've ever been in this situation like that when nothing else happened, you can go back to that without a problem.
Yeah, but once you break that seal,
it's hard.
You can't put, like I said, you can't put that toothpaste back in the tube once it spills out. So yeah, it's very hard. So I can get. So I've been there, but again, we can never be married. In fact, I think one time I even told a friend, I was like, we can never be married. You know that, right? we can go a few rounds and whatnot. I can't marry you. You know, we destroy each other if we were married. You know that. Cops
she
be
get
coming
offended?
out. What's that?
Did she get offended?
I don't know about offended, but I think she kind of realized, like, yeah, we're just too volcanic. Like I said, and especially back, like I'm even now, like I say, I like to debate. I don't like to debate as much now. I like to have conversation.
Right.
Debate, especially in some of the rooms that we've all been in. When it gets toxic like that, I'm like, dude, I'm out.
Yeah.
When dudes start calling each other names, when facts start getting distorted, and people just running with stuff, it's like, all right, obviously not listening to what I got to say. So
You know
I
what?
don't need to be a part of this conversation. So I'm less patient than I used to be in my 20s and 30s when it came to debate. But I'd be on the phone, brothers, we'd be on the phone all night long, 4 or 5 hours. My wife would come downstairs, like, y'all still debating? And she can hear us because we're yelling, like we're like, you know.
No, and I
But
get.
I don't have time for that anymore. I'm just like I said. So I've lost my capacity for those long drive of any sex or any type of relationship anymore. But back then, I would stand on my square, and I would fight to the last stand. One of us is gonna fall. I ain't budging. You ain't budging either. But man, she's sexy when she.
Yo, I'm turned on by this.
Yeah, I'm like all that. So let's go. But that's the thing. And some of it happened so spontaneously. It was like we weren't even, feeling it. Just, like me and a girl, and it's weird because we were like debating or whatever, and we just started arguing, and we got into like a tussle. We're in the dorm and we're like in a tussle or something, and one thing leads to another, and she actually tried to bite me.
Wow.
And I'm like, I said, don't bite me. And then I said, don't bite me. You can kiss me, don't bite me. And what she do? She just kissed me. Like, and I was like, oh. And it just happened just like that. It was just, but I was like, nah, this ain't gonna work. It's just not. It was, we were every other day we were fighting or debating over something, and it was usually some women's rights thing or her, like, because I consider myself a feminist, but she might have been a couple waves ahead of me, type of feminist type of thing. You know what I mean?
Womanist.
We'd have a lot of those debates over feminists or women's issues or stuff like that or whatever, and she just never wanted to be in a state where she was like vulnerable like that, or she never wanted to feel like, so she always had to have the upper hand. Like it was uncomfortable to be like,
was almost at the last word.
Yeah, or just that kind of, how when your lady's kind of like into you, like she's like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, she's like, it's like.
Let me ask you a question, because you were in that type of relationship before you got married. Afterwards, do you think a stable relationship felt boring after a while?
No, because boring to me is what makes relationships long. I think long-term relationships, they're very predictable. Now, again, if you have, because for a lot of those people, it's like anything else. It's like if you're always looking for outside stimulus to keep things going. Like I know couples, they travel every other month. They going out of the country. They're in the Caribbean and 1 week, and there it is. So, I mean, how long are you going to do that? And it's interesting because when the pandemic happened, we knew a lot of couples who broke up because it was one of the first times. It's like, no, we can't do nothing. It's you and I, and we're stuck in this house for long periods of time, and you can't go to work. Because think about it. I mean, in a regular work day, you might only see your spouse maybe 8 hours in a day. I mean, you're sleeping 6 to 8 hours.
Right.
You're out of the office 8 to 10 hours or whatever. So how often are you like in company with your mate? It's probably less than 6 hours.
Except you're stupid like me and date your other half at work and the same department.
That's not well, I met my wife at work, but we were in certain different areas. So again, we still like we didn't see each other too much. But again, you're not in each other's space like all the time. You can get away from that, and that hit a lot of stuff. But when people were like, no, we are stuck. My wife and I, we didn't miss a beat. But other people, it's like, it's like the quiet part got said out loud. Yeah, I can't stand you, but I can tolerate you because I can get out of here and I have a life and purpose outside of you. But if I got to deal with you all the time,
Yeah.
the things that annoy me, I could just walk away from, but I can't walk away now, and stuff just builds up.
And
So
then
for me, boring is the way to go. It's like there shouldn't be a problem. Like my kids tell me, like, Mom and Dad, you guys are boring because every other friend that they have, there's something else going on. If the friend's parents are married, there's issues going on, or they're single, or they're dating, or something. It's always something. But it's like my kids have nothing to report. What do your parents do? Well, same thing. Like every night, like they just married. Like there's no, yeah, we travel a bit more. We try to go on vacation a couple times a year. We try to do certain things, but on a nightly basis, like my wife is right upstairs right now watching her streaming channels. Either she's watching a Hallmark movie, or she's watching some Chicago Fire, or some, CSI. She's watching something like that.
sounds like my wife. She loves the Hallmark movies. She
And
loves.
we're kind of separated for most of the
girl
night.
I'm seeing now, the girl I'm dating right now, she loves horror movie, like those like real life killer movies, shows,
Yeah.
like the serial killer ones.
Right.
And I was literally walking up out and I'm talking like, what the hell is in the background? And she goes, another serial killer movie. You're like, how do you sleep at night?
You know what I saw recently when I went sort of the Michael Jackson movie? Like Anton, you might remember this, Pete. I don't know if you remember this. There was a series of movies that came out in the 70s. I think it was called Faces of Death.
Oh,
Remember that? So it was like a documentary sort of thing, where you had real situations where people were like in death situations. It could be people, it could be animals. I remember this one time, and I'm not going to get too graphic. These people were in some Latin location, some exotic restaurant or something, and the main delicacy was live monkey brain. And what they had to do was, so you had this monkey was in a table, and you put the monkey in the middle of the table, and this hole in the table, and you close it where only its neck was exposed. And people had to take mallets.
Yes, I heard about that.
And and then once it was done, they ate the brain. It was like some crazy kind of delicacy.
Was it alive when it happened?
Yes.
Yeah. Put it like this, Peter. Put it like this. Remember Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom?
Uh-huh.
Okay, remember the part when Indy was at the Shah's house, at the Shah's palace, and they were having dinner, and one of the desserts was chilled monkey brains, and then you saw all these goblets with monkeys' heads on them, and then you just grabbed the top, you pulled on the top, and you took off the top of their skull, and their monkey brain looked like Jello.
Yeah.
And they're just eating it like it's nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. Just all kinds of crazy, stuff. So it was like that. But
where got that part from? I would not be surprised.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm just saying. So just getting back to you saying like you girl you're dating now, she's into the horror stuff. Whatever. I just remember because I was like Faces of Death, like, and it was like on the marquee. Like, I guess they came coming out with a new movie and they're redoing the series or whatever. I'm like, really? It's like they coming out with this again. So I was like that kind of went back. That took me back to the 70s and 80s when we saw it in high school or whatever. But in any event, but yeah, I mean it's that kind of passion. Like I said, it is attractive. I'll give you that. But boredom. Like I said, my kids have absolutely nothing to say about us. If they said, "What are your parents like?" They do their thing. Like I said, every night. Like I said, my wife she went upstairs about 8:00. I'm down here. Doc is right here on the couch next to me, chilling out. I'm gonna go upstairs in a bit, and whatever happens. But I'm just saying. But it's kind of clockwork. Is nothing. In the morning she goes to work, I go to work, and we do unless we got something planned.
My
You
parents.
know, weekends we plan certain things on occasion, but it's just normal. It's just like I have. There's no stress here that I get from her. My daughters, yeah, that's a source of stress. More so, not so much of me, but it's more so they stress her out. We had a situation yesterday where my daughter was stressing my wife out. My wife, she was kind of like in tears, like I don't know if I can deal with you. You got to step because I kind of bring a different perspective to the situation and whatnot. And I try to be more so, they can reason with me a little bit more. But with her, you know, they know how to pull the triggers on her, and she does the same with them. And so sometimes I got 4 crying women up in here.
Oh my God! So you play referee, like, oh God, how am I
Yeah,
gonna handle
yeah.
that?
So that's
You
the
want
only
to call
time.
referee? Oh, you
Yeah.
never met a Greek woman. Because when I try to walk away from her arguments, she doesn't want to take her medication. I try to give her time, whatever. As you turn around, she throws those little jabs, like little mini warheads at your brain, and you don't realize, like, you're a dickless bastard. Like, what the fuck? What did you fucking say to me, woman? And it goes back and forth. And my girl looked at me like, okay, you need to go upstairs and chill out for a minute. I'm like, no. Did you like? I know what she said. No, shut up. What do you mean you shut up? No. We have like the weirdest relation, me and my mother, and you guys seen it on camera. The shows we did together, me and my mom, and she looked at me like I'm just eating. Then like, fuck off. I'm like, what the fuck can I do? You were born. That's the one reason. She goes,
So let me ask you, Pete. So again, not to
And I'm guessing
not to be stereotypical, but is this normal, like Greek relationships or whatever? Like, and it used to be like, and I know you said you did one of your exes was Dominican, right?
yes.
Now I've heard this all. Anton, you probably heard it also. Dominican women, very sexy, they got all the package. It's like it's like a sister with good hair. You know what I mean? They got everything.
Mm-hmm.
The trade-off. Don't get them upset.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It's like you playing with fire. And fire is a good thing. Fire can cook your food. Fire can heat your home. But you go there or you play with her, when you say te amo or te quiero, it's over. In fact, I remember my nephew BJ. He's a Latin Philic or Latin like he's like an appreciator of Latin culture. He's an African American man. I mean, but he speaks fluent Spanish. He knows dialects in Spanish. He knows Cuban. He knows Costa Rican. He knows Dominican. He knows the slang. He just blends. I've seen him in action. He's incredible.
Because people don't realize how many there's different variances of Spanish. Like
correct. But he told me we went to a Spanish restaurant one time. We were just talking about that. So it's like, so I was just asking him, it's like, so when you say I love you to a woman, like there's 2 ways to do it. It's like the one, if you say te quiero, that's like I love you. But if you say te amo to a woman, so like you better mean that. Because if you mess that up, she'll cut you straight. I mean, it's so I wonder is some of this like with just different groups of women where it's like you got to be able to accept that. She'd be like, "What up?" She'll say, "Poppy." Once she start calling you Poppy,
oh, you're in.
If you mess that up, if you play with that, she'll cut you too. So I'm just.
So I have dated multiple Dominican women.
I'm gonna cut you. Abuelo will cut you. That's all I'm gonna say.
So hang on a second, Anton. I dated multiple Dominican women. My experience has been mixed all over the place. So some of them are like, start arguing. You better have the gloves on. And you're ready, or you're ready to rumble. You're like Rocky versus Apollo, literally, kind of thing in the house. But the other ones, like you're gonna argue with them and have a civil conversation, and it's great. And afterwards, like it doesn't matter who wins the argument or debate or whatever you guys are talking about, you can walk away fine. It really depends on how they were raised. I don't want to put the race and statistic on somebody because that's not fair. It's hard to say that because they're known for like, oh, they're Dominican, like run away because they're gold diggers, and 2, you're gonna get ass whooped by them. No, I don't agree with that because he's like saying, Puerto Rican men who carry out knives with them all the time. And we know that that's not facts. So he's saying that, and he's like, I don't think that's facts either. It just like saying like Greek men, all of them own diners. I don't own a diner. I'm a chef, but I don't own a diner. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
Little bandit, you.
But you don't see, certainly with Greek relationships, you see, they're generally calm, or it's a mixed bag. You can't say
It's
from one
mixed.
to
It's
the next.
mixed. Like I seen
Mixed.
them like argue pretty nasty. I see him not argue nasty. It's all mixed. Like my current relationship right now, like she's the most calmest, chillest person you ever met. And I'm getting mad. It's like when she goes like, so whatever.
But
I'm
what
like,
about her husband? She's married?
no.
That's what
How
I'm saying.
old is Dana? She's married.
I'm saying this is a relationship topic, right? So we're talking
Yeah.
about, from what you've seen in your life, observed, are most Greek relationships, husband and wife that you've seen, are they a bit on the volatile
Edgiest side.
side, or are they kind of calm and chill? I mean, what have you?
But most relationships are more vocal. Like they will argue. They're passionate what they're arguing about.
Right.
And they're going back and forth. And they won't get physical, but they get loud. I'll be honest with you, they do get loud.
Right. And we've all seen, like, there's households that you've gone to where they're just screaming, right? Or they're just loud, but that's normal. And I've been to homes like that. It's like, man, why is everybody yelling like that? But that's just the nature of the house.
And you know me pretty well, Paul, by now, I believe, after all these years. And I'm a loud son of a bitch.
I've never seen you loud. I mean, vocal and profane, yes, all those things, yes, but not loud. Like, I've never seen you scream at anybody.
I remember someone said that I was loud, and that was because I think my mother sometimes is a little bit hard of hearing, so we've always had to talk loud around her.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's like that with a lot of my relatives. And some people will tell me like, "Damn, you kind of loud." I'm like, really?
Right. But typically, from your standpoint, so you come from a Haitian Creole type of household. Now, I've been in some. It's vocal. Now, I wouldn't say it's toxic, but it's definitely vocal. It's like I remember I lived in a place 5 years. Had the owners of the home, the landlords, they were Haitian background, and you would just hear just the kids or something, or someone's downstairs, someone's upstairs. Mom is yelling something from upstairs down to the kids and back. It's just, again, it's not a quiet. From what I've seen, my best friends are Haitian Creole, so it's not a quiet. I'll go to their house, and the mom was always saying something, and it is weird because that was the first time I would hear the guys would always respond. The mom would only talk Creole or Haitian in the house, always, and they would always reply back in English.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
I
was like I was watching Star Wars or something like that. It's like Han and Chewie or something.
Yeah.
It was kind of like that. It's like, Mom, I told you I'd do it. Blah, 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 blah. All right, Mom, I'll get to it. And so that's just, like I said, just a dynamic that I've in certain households I've seen.
Yes.
Again, I don't want to brand or label a culture like that, but there's a lot of cultures that you go into and it's not meant or intended to be quiet. If you're gonna be in this thing, expect certain things. If you come from if you want peace and quiet or whatever, or privacy, and that's another thing, big homes, big family. Like, if you got, somebody's around me, you got all these families in one house, or multi housing units. So you never get any quiet time to yourself. So that is something to
I totally agree that it's something that you're not gonna have, like,
right.
And like I said, the woman I'm dating now, she's completely opposite of me. Like, she's the chillest person. And we have got some disagreements, and she's like chill, not raising her voice, not getting frustrated. I'm looking at her, I'm like, get mad for once, please. She goes, it's not in me. Like, she's trying to calm me down. Maybe that's a good thing about the relationship.
It was about balance. My wife and I both come from different backgrounds, but we bring a sense of balance. It works for us. That's what counts. And people don't realize that. Like,
did you have to work on that? Like, did you guys start off kind of in that space, and then you kind of grew into this more calm, kind of, you kind of blended it, or did you have to work on that to get? Because, and I think some couples have to work. You don't necessarily start out that way, but if you're patient, if you're dedicated and whatnot, I've seen couples who kind of get to that sense of, my older sister. I remember like just growing up, like her and her husband, like they would come to blows, but they got to a point where all that got worked out, and they did get to this kind of happy place, and he wasn't as volatile as he was, and she chill. So I've seen couples who've gotten there, but it takes time. So what was more like your path? Did you guys start out like that and kind of stayed there, kind of consistent, or did you have to work towards it?
We were both consistent in everything. I mean, there were moments where we did there were some moments where either I got out of pocket or she got out of pocket, but we always made sure we worked towards, that sense towards the middle, to where you're always going to have that sense of balance, and we've always found a way to maintain it. It was something that happened overnight.
Right. So I hear you guys now. I mean, obviously you guys are, like I said, very lively. Just the banter between you guys, especially when you do your little debate or whatever. She has or something. So again, neither one of you has a problem with expressing yourselves. But again, and that's kind of what I was in. But like I said, a lot of times didn't know when to say to stop.
Right.
And say this is getting a little bit too. Let's pause. Round is over. Go to your round 3.
I think
get some water, walk around the block or whatever. Some people just don't know how to get off of that energy. You know what I mean?
It was also for us. We knew what could trigger either one of us, and we always made sure to stay away. Like we saw that line, we made sure to never cross that line. And that's the one thing we've always respected. That's the one mutual thing we could definitely say we respect each other on, is we would never take something, cross that line intentionally just because. And I think that's one of the things that people, and I think when you hear people saying, oh, I don't want to be vulnerable around my, the person you're dating or your spouse because of, oh, you're afraid they're going to try to use it against you. And that's understandable. But also when you're told those things, like if your spouse comes out and tells you things that no one else knows, you always keep that in the back of your head and take consideration. Don't go there. Because if you go there, who knows where things are going to go from that point forward.
Yeah.
So sometimes at times when your spouse tells you the most dangerous, like the most secrets that no one else knows about, you keep that in the back of your head saying, if you see you go in that direction, avoid it at all costs. It's like a minefield.
Yeah.
Just avoid it.
Yeah.
Walk around it. And I think that, and to me, I feel like that's why we're in a place where we're okay, where we're good. Because there are times she could have, and there are times I could have. But we all know once you pull that trigger, you can't get that round back.
No.
Pull the
pin
out of the grenade, and it's
exactly.
And I think some people are addicted to the chaos. And they like it. You know what I'm saying? Like I know people.
I wouldn't even call it. I don't know if I would call it chaos. It's what's the I'm looking for the right hormone. Whatever that. Well, adrenaline, and there's another one, but it's there's stimulant hormones and then there's chill hormones, right? Oxytocin and those sort of things. But it's the same kind of mechanism. It's like, again, it's that sense of excitement. It's like some people are trying to like being scared. Like why some people like roller coasters, right? There's a fear aspect of it. There's like in your adrenaline, there's an excitement. And I think certainly a lot of people get addicted to that feeling of wanting to be on that roller coaster. You know what I mean?
I like roller
If you
coasters.
get
Just saying that. That's why.
yeah, but I'm just saying. But I think even in relationships, also, you know, and again, I've known relative where it's like again, it's physical 1 minute, but then it's physical the next minute.
Thank you, wife school. That's what her. I think you were looking for, Paul. Dopamine.
Yeah, yeah. But
That's what I said
let's say
earlier.
when you combine right, so when you combine that with the testosterone increase, you know, then that's yeah. People get it's the same rush as like people who gamble, right? It's the same thing. People who have addictive personality, you know, it's the same thing. Or and do keep in mind, some people that's it's also what you've been taught. If you grew up in a household where mom and dad were like that or whatever, or you saw your parent, whoever was raising you in these kind of situations, a lot of times you sometimes think or expect that that's how it's supposed to be. And certainly in our community, in a lot of our community, I won't say our community, but too often in our community, we see this thing where, yeah, you're in toxic relationship because your mom's always in toxic relationship. All her boyfriends, or what you never saw what a normal, like I said, my kids, it's like they tell me all the time. It's just like, man, like most of my friends, they don't have 2-parent household.
Right. I remember one of my brother's friends from college, and he actually told this to my brother and me one time. He said when he met our parents, he said that was the first black couple he's ever met that were married to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Which means he's probably has parents and step parents. Everybody else he knows has parents and step parents. He's never, and when he said that, I was like, really? He's like, yeah. And I was just like, wow. Because I guess what it is, when you're so used to seeing one aspect of things, it looks completely different when you see the other perspective. And when you see that other perspective, it's almost like a shock to the system. It's like, oh wow. You've been so used to seeing the things from one aspect, not realizing there's another aspect.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes for some people, that's like, you know, it's a serious culture shock to them. You know, when you're so used to dealing with the chaos, and then all of a sudden you find yourself in a position where you find yourself in a place where there's order, it's almost like, no way, this can't be. And unfortunately, and I'm not saying that happens all the time, but for some cases, unfortunately, sometimes it's self-sabotage.
Yeah.
Or the saying, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. But this is the one case, if it's too good to be true, that's okay. Because when we're hearing that, never the positive.
Right. Because even my oldest daughter, it's funny. Probably the two most stable relationships that she knows of is ours, and then a friend of this is the daughter who was in the wedding last year, Pete.
Mm-hmm.
So that girl's parents. And it's weird though, but my daughter, she's kind of funny though, because she sees the similarities. Like you said, there's order to structure. Now again, I don't go around talking about, well, I'm the head of the house kind of deal.
Right.
But I am. You know what I mean? Like my wife, you know, she defers to me a lot when it comes to certain things. And she treats me in certain ways. You know, and my daughter, she'll be like, in a way, it's almost like she's afraid of that. Because again, especially with a lot of women today, they talk about this idea of controlling. They don't like men that are controlling. And I'm always pushing back a little bit with what's wrong with being controlling. First of all, if you frame it the right way,
Exactly.
because a real man who's controlling, the first person that they're in control of is themselves.
That's true.
And they will never ask of anything of anyone that they're not willing to do themselves. The toxic ones, they're the ones who have no control or discipline whatsoever, but they want everybody else to be loyal to them. Or they
Right.
want to control all the other situations, but they got no control themselves. So it's kind of like a do as I say, not as I do sort of thing.
Yep.
And that's funny you said that, Paul, because I know with my ex, if I mention something like, good stupid example, like her water bottles was a thing in at her house. Like every couple of days, they'd go get water bottles. Like I have a fountain. I have a big jug. Use that. Oh, I can't drink out of a bottle. Like it was that turned into argument. It was if it wasn't something it worked for her lifestyle or the way she wanted. The answer will be no. Didn't matter. I'm like I'm at least meet me halfway here. Like let's find a middle ground. There was no middle ground with her. It was this way or no way.
Yeah.
That's why one of the things I've honestly said this. I've honestly said this to some women. Do you want to be right or do you want to be happy?
Yeah. And for a lot of women, it's the being right. Because or the idea is the fear of being controlled, quote unquote controlled.
Yep.
It's just a feeling because again, they hear a lot of the like I said, the toxic stories, or the guy who was controlling in the negative sense of again trying to control them, but not himself. Wanted her to be all in, but not himself. They saw a lot of that, and even when it's good. Like I was telling like my daughter, it's like, look, your friends that they've been married for like what? They've been married, I think, longer than we have. And look at what they got set up. Look at the, situation. Look at our situation.
Exactly.
And I'm asking my daughter, like, what about me? And she'll try to say something like, well, yeah, well, you're different or whatever. But but even when you're looking for someone, wouldn't you want someone like me or something, similar to that? But it scares them because, and even my other daughter, she talks about, the guy who her friend is with now, he might be controlling. Maybe he's a cop, and you know how cops are sometimes. They again just structure.
Yeah.
Well, if you're forming military or something like that, yeah, because you've been built up in a very structured way. You want things done in certain ways. You know what you want, but then at the same time, women say you want successful men. Well, most success again, unless you're 6'9" and playing in the NBA or playing in the NFL or something like that, where you just a man child, you just got freakish ability or whatever. Most successful men, stable men who got their stuff together, they're going to be controlling to an extent. And so you got to ask yourself as a lady, what do you want? If you want that kind of man, that Lord, that man, a man of honor, a man of duty, who's going to be there, he's going to lay down his life for you. He's going to be there all the time. If you want that, yeah, there's going to be that type of man controls the world around him. He doesn't allow certain things in his world.
Exactly.
He doesn't allow chaos in his world.
Exactly.
So he might be the guy, he'd be like, if you got some chaotic friends, he might be like, look, you need to let those girls go. But then the girls will come back and say, oh, see, girl, he's trying to control you. But what do you want? Are your girlfriends going to be there for you at the end of the day? Do you want the man? What are you invested into? I've seen it even with my own daughters. I've seen this kind of resistance.
The hesitant.
But then the guys that you're dealing with, it's chaotic. But you still feel that because you still feel a sense of control or empowerment to say, I still got the upper hand, or I'm still one up in this relationship, or I can leave on my own terms. A lot of them would rather be in that situation rather than being with a dude who's got his stuff together. Let me hitch my wagon to his and let me grow with him.
Right.
And I think even with, and again, I don't know all the situation with Meg Thee Stallion and Clay and all that kind of stuff or whatever, but clearly she's her own person. If he said like, all right, look, babe, we're gonna be together, gonna marry, whatever. Look, maybe do you need to be twerking on the floor doing your performance or whatever?
Right.
But to the world and to her, that's like, oh, well, you're trying to control me and who I am. Now, again, having said that, you knew Clay who you were getting with.
Exactly.
She, if anybody, she didn't hide at all who she was. She showed you her hand who she was.
Mm-hmm.
And you decided you wanted to get with that. So again, this is for men also. You need to understand who it is when they show you who they are. What Maya Angelou said, when they show you who they are, believe them.
Exactly.
And also just getting back to the family dynamic, and this is my last point I get to Pete. That's why also the family dynamic is also important to see as quickly as possible. Yep. So if I'm into you, I want to meet your family pretty quickly. I want to see what that dynamic is. I want to see what that household's like. Is it chaotic? Because I believe, especially when it comes to marriage, you marry families. And if I'm going to have kids, my kids are going to be around your family.
Exactly.
And so you could be the greatest person, but unless we're going to move halfway around the world and not see them very often, they're going to be in my life.
Exactly.
And if you got some crazy ones, I'm like, I gotta consider that. So go ahead, Peter. I just want to.
So two things. When I was dating with this, you want to call it toxic. This is toxic. I got out of that fast. Remember a while back, Paul, I was dating this Indian woman, and
I think you told me. I never saw her, but I think you told me.
Yeah, you never met her. I was dating her, and anytime you're gonna check on what I want to tell you this. So she thought it was cool. I had letting her ex-husband sleep at her house. I go, that's not okay. I was not cool with that.
Wait. Say again.
Her ex-husband was cool. She was cool. I should be cool letting her ex-husband sleep over.
Mm-hmm.
And when we were just trying to have a conversation, I'm the crazy one. I'm this. I'm that. I'm like, no. So she ended up hanging up on the phone, and she called her ex and goes like, "Yo, are we fucked up?" Like he goes, "Yeah, actually." Like I'll be honest, like my wife is not really cool with it either. To be honest, but we just deal with it. I don't blame the guy. That's one. Two, I knew of a couple like, man, his girlfriend was going to a bachelorette party. They were going to a male strip club. There can be male strippers dancing on her and all this stuff. Like, and he goes, "Yeah, you're not doing that. If you go like, you want to act signal or you want to be in a relationship? You get those are the two options you have on the table." And she looked at me like he's not being fair. Like, oh, keep my ass the fuck out of this one. I want to work. Like, and they turn around. We won your true opinion. Like, he's right. If you're going to be in a relationship, you don't have to go to a strip club. You guys can go out for a few drinks. You guys can go do something else. I wouldn't be okay with that as a man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the only one talking on this panel like that, but
no, I mean, yeah, I would say this. It's more about what you negotiate. It's like anything else. If you're good with that,
right,
then I got nothing to say. I mean, like it's your deal as long as everybody's eyes are wide open and everybody knows what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look, I'm not into like open relationship type stuff personally, but some people are, and they're good with it. Again, what am I going to say about that? Or you hit the men's club, he's hitting the strip clubs and on the business trips. But y'all talk about it. I mean, what? So again, or the question is, I think even Kevin Samuels used to talk about this. It's like, it's not cheating if everybody knows what's going on. So again, if you're one of those guys, you on the road, let's say if you're a business traveler, you're on the road, you living out of suitcase 3 weeks out of the month, and you find yourself in all these different places around the world, but you make a good living, house is taken care of. His thing was, look, no babies, No embarrassment. Keep it. I remember even Magic Johnson with Cookie. Cookie knew he was the player, but it's like, look, just don't embarrass me. And the thing about when he came out with the HIV, that was like, she could have left him right there.
Yeah.
But she chose to stay. But again, that was the thing. But she knew that Magic had, was going to the Playboy Mansion and all that. But just said, don't put it in my face. Now, again, that doesn't work for me. I don't think it'll work for any of us. But there's couples that are like that. Can I judge outside it unless I make a moral judgment based on what I believe morally? But again, what two people decide to do, I'm kind of, but can you be loyal to what you negotiate? And a lot of people, a lot of people can't.
And that's what it is. It's about establishing the boundaries,
Boundaries,
things like that.
Yep.
And that's the thing and those are the things where things can go sideways either way. If you don't establish those type of parameters from the start, then that's when things can go left real quick.
Yeah. The funny part to that story, Anton, is after the argument ended, 2 days later, we're all hanging out, and so we're, he goes to me, "You're going to get kicked out of this, Pete." Now, I'm like, "What was that?" Remember the argument? Like, yeah. What about it? It goes. So the girl who's getting married told her fiance they're going to a male strip club. He looked at her like, "You go to the male strip club, the wedding's off." Because what? He's like, "Yeah, that's not appropriate. You're going to be a married woman. You're in a relationship right now. You're engaged. That is inappropriate. Pick anything else. Go to a dinner. I don't care. I'll pay for it. Go to the movies. Go to even a club if you want to go dancing. I don't care what you do. That is inappropriate behavior." And the whole argument was pointless, pretty much, because they ended up not going to that. They ended up doing something. I don't remember what they ended up doing, to be honest with you. But they ended up doing something completely opposite of that. And most of the guys who were dating those girls who were going to the bachelor party were like, yeah, none of them were cool with it. They're over, like, yeah, nah. But that makes us the jealous types. That's the kicker I get out of it. We're jealous. We're insecure.
Right.
And later on, the woman who was getting married, she looked at me to his girlfriend like, I should consider his feelings before I made that decision. I'm like, seriously?
Yeah. But but again, I would still say that to say it's inappropriate. Again, it's everything what you negotiate. But the thing is, I don't understand why she would even come to that conclusion without consulting with him first.
Ironically, there's some couples know that, especially if there's some couples getting married, they know things like that are gonna happen. They only, and I've heard about before where some couples are like, listen, go out, be safe, have fun, have a great time. And they'll just say, don't do anything stupid. And that's it. And sometimes they don't. The thing I've learned with some people, if you're too concerned about what your future spouse is doing, that you really need to think about, okay, do I really want to make this official? Sometimes they may do something stupid. Other times they may not do anything stupid. But either way you look at it, if you come out, and we always hear that, if a man says that he's controlling, but when you hear women doing that, it's okay. No, you hear women that do something like that, it's also controlling as well. Because the thing people forget, you have to have a sense of trust. If you're going to make things official with this person, you already have to have that sense of trust. Whether or not they do this thing with their friends at a bachelor or bachelorette party, things like that, things are going to happen one way or the other. But the minute you make it official, you should already have that trust established. And if you don't have that trust established by the time you're in front of your family and friends, exchanging rings and saying "I do," you're going to have issues.
But by trust, but what do you mean by that?
In other words, you tell the person, go out, have a great time, be safe, don't do anything stupid. Now, you're probably already know in the back of your head, this guy's going to the bachelor parties, or she's going to the bachelorette. He's going to the clubs, she's going to the clubs.
Mhm.
But at the same time, it's like, you know what? I'm hanging out with my friends, and I'm going to hang out with my friends and have a good time. She's going to hang out with her friends and have a good time.
Mhm.
And
But I'm saying, but even if it went off the rails, as long as they knew what each other was doing, is that still cool? Yeah, I would take it to that extreme. Because I've been to bachelor parties where we went to we've gone to the real Anton, how should I put this? The type of we're not going to the go places where they're just dancing.
In other words, city bars.
Maybe a little more than that.
That's what I meant.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
I'm talking about, lap dances. I'm talking about
Backroom parties, closed door, pay with whatever you want.
Of course, yes.
You know what I'm saying? And again, if it's in their mind, again, this isn't me. I've been in the rooms though. I've been in my younger years. I've been in those rooms, and I see what goes on. And if they know about it though, if this like you're gonna have your one last fling or whatever, and like I said, get it out of your system.
Yeah.
As long as that's open, again, what am I gonna say about it? I wouldn't do it, but what am I gonna say about it? You know what I mean? So my thing is, as long as you, so I guess the difference between me and you, the way we're framing it, and again, we're not too far off. You're looking at it more so as trust, not to do anything stupid. I'm looking more as terms of transparency and honesty, which is a component of trust also. I think you need both of those. But as long as there's transparency, I'm good with that. As far as, trust or what have you, I don't know. Because like I said, you have open relationships. What do you trust in if the relationship is open? So yeah, but so again, like you said earlier, you define the parameters. Yes, we're gonna be in an open relationship, but no kids or no STDs.
Yep.
Or however you guys want to work that. That's and that exists, especially in some of these high society worlds. Like I said, I don't want to even be near that. I couldn't imagine being in a position like, especially with me and my wife. I think I'm at the point now where I think Pete, you asked me one time on the show when I was going on those business trips or whatever. Low key, I don't think I could function. Like I would shrivel up like a date. I don't care how fine she was. I don't care how, like, I am programmed to my wife. Now, I could look at another woman and see, yes, she's attractive and all that. I can look outside myself and notice an attractive woman or a body just like any other dude. But to touch another woman, though?
But they go same thing with my buddy when his girlfriend was thinking about going to the strip club. How let's say it was you in a second, Paul. Like, and she telling me, oh, hey, husband, babe, whatever your wife calls you, king, whatever, right? Because by the way, I'm going to a strip club because my girlfriend is having a bachelorette party there. I wouldn't be okay with that personally. To be honest.
I wouldn't. Like I said, I think the three of us were kind of in alignment in terms of what we think is acceptable. I'm just giving room just as an argument that a couple you can decide or negotiate whatever you want in that situation. But I know me. So let's say if I did go to a bachelor party, like let's say Pete, you wanted to go to a strip club. I'd be like, look, I love you, bro, but I couldn't do it. Have fun. Don't do anything stupid. I'd be like your fiance. Don't do anything stupid. Have fun. But if you said, "Hey, me and Anton, hey, I want to go. Yeah, I'm getting married, and but I heard this strip club, and yeah, I want to go, and you're my groom, my guys or whatever. And hey, let's go and have a good time." I'd be like, "Look, I'll see you at the wedding."
Low key, really fast, guys. I'll be straight with you guys. 1, I think they're a waste of money. 2 is a waste of time, and 3, what you're gonna walk away. And do I have it here? Yeah, you're gonna walk away. You're gonna be needing this later.
No, no. It wouldn't like if let's say
That's how I see
if
it.
we went and you said hey, you got one of the girls there. It's like, look, give my man Paul a lap dance.
I don't see that ever happening. You're gonna look at me like, "Fuck you,
I'm
Pete."
like, no, I don't care how. Again, she could be the sexiest woman out there. I couldn't do it.
I knew, guys.
I couldn't do it. I'm so. I mean, I'm like I said.
No,
I'm
I'm actually on your side. Like the last bachelor party I went to is the guys were talking like what we're doing. Like I told them straight, if you do titty bar, I'm out. I'm not doing it. So we end up just honestly, this might sound cheesy. Just going out for a few drinks at a cigar lounge or cigar bar, I should say. We had a few drinks. We laughed. We would, we were talking about comic books and stuff like that, and we just and play some video games.
I don't remember what I did for my. I don't think we didn't do a whole lot. I think we might have did dinner or something. But knowing the way we were back then, we probably would have played some NES. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. We just had.
That's all we did. I mean, it's like, yeah.
we end up having cigars. We end up having a few drinks. I'm not, he rented a limo. I think was like the party things,
Right.
And then we went back to my house actually because it was local to me, and we just played PlayStation afterwards. And it was like arguing on Call of Duty. That's what the most fun part was for us.
Yeah.
Like if you ask me right now, Pete, you're about to get married in a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. What do you want to do? You and Anton coming with me. I'll go simple. Let's go to. It depends on what weather it is out there.
Mm-hmm.
Roller coaster sounds pretty fun to me. I'll be like a year. Unless you're going on one, Paul.
I may lose it. I've been on them. I'm just saying it's not my favorite thing to do.
I don't care. It's my bachelor party. You're going on one.
You know what I would rather something I never did, but I'd be open to doing if we go to a gun range.
Whoa! Back it up.
I would go to a gun range if you wanted to do that for your bachelor event. I would do that.
I'm in.
Where's Paul? What do you do with him? Because last time we had this conversation, he goes,
"No, I'm not. I'm not a believer in guns, but again, I'm not anti-gun.
No, because last time you said you didn't even feel even comfortable touching one, and we had.
I didn't, but I'm saying I would. But that would be. Because again, in your question, you're asking basically what would I be willing to sacrifice, and I would be able to do that. Like I recognize it is uncomfortable having a gun in my hands because I'm like, this thing is deadly, like for real. Like the only reason why this exists is to delete people. But at the same time, I would
that statement. But okay,
I would say though. That's one of those things where I would want to get over it. I would never own a gun. But what I would do is, again, I think certainly it's important for certain things. The gun safety for, knowing proper use, I think that's important. And if I was going to do that, like even in my, what's that?
Okay, let me ask you this question. It's my bachelor party. I said, let's go to a range and I want to go to a cigar lounge. Just no alcohol, just smoke a cigar in a cigar lounge. Would you go into a cigar lounge? You don't have to smoke, just to sit there with us.
Well, no, because I don't like the smell of so basically being exposed to that all the time. It would be irritating.
What about just outside?
As long as you blow your smoke.
I'm not gonna blow in your
way,
face, dude. I'm not
gonna. knowing you would. You would.
No, I wouldn't.
You would.
No. Fuck you for that. For number one, I will never do that to anybody. Even when we went to Comic-Con, I was having a cigarette. I never came near you. I stayed away from you guys as I had my cigarette. Didn't I do that? I respect.
Yeah, but you're talking about going outside the public. We're talking about being in a venue where that everyone's going to be for the most part doing cigars. Anton, you do cigars?
No, I don't, but I'm willing
Okay.
to go lounge.
See, he's willing to go. So again, you're
what I'm
in a
saying to you,
mostly-
Paul, is like I would never ever blow smoke in anybody's face. Number one, it's disrespectful, and two, do you know what blowing smoke in somebody's face stands for?
Well, fighting words right there.
honestly, no. Well, I mean,
Means you
but
wanna
again,
bang
it's a you know, guys are facing off and a guy takes one and blows in his face. Yeah,
Okay, no,
But as a
In
prank. But I'm
Greece,
saying you're a prankster, so I could certainly.
no,
see
I
you
wouldn't do
doing-
that. I'll
Okay.
put firecrackers on your seat. That I would do.
Because usually,
See, I would rather the smoke in my face than the firecracker.
I did. No, there's little poppers. That's what I'm talking about. I would do.
That's what I'm
Like,
saying. Like the loud
no, I would
explosive
never.
stuff.
So in Greece, blowing smoke in your face, it means you want to be getting their pants. That's what that stands for.
wow.
So that's why I would.
What,
That's
to a
not joking.
woman? Wait a
Those
minute.
are like deletion words.
Oh, say getting in your pants. Well, I took it another way then. I thought you meant that was like, yeah, guys with a girl or whatever. He wants to get in her pants. He blows smoke in her face. That's like the sign. I thought that's what you were
That's
going.
pretty much what it is. And same thing for if you're you're into the opposite sex or same sex or whatever. If a dude blows smoke in your face, those are fighting. Now they're fighting because if he's a straight gentleman and a guy blows smoke in your face, like you're gonna get knocked out.
I'm
because
saying,
that's
but if
it.
you do that to a woman, that's a sign of attraction, I guess.
Yeah, over in Greece. Do you ever remember 90% of people in Greece smoke?
I get that.
90%.
So you're on a date with a lady, and it kind of gets to that time of the night where you kind of look at each other. So you're gonna take a puff of your cigarette. You're it's like, oh, it's about to go down. That's how it works.
Yeah,
I'm just
pretty
asking.
much. It's not like that, but if you're at a club, like if I smoking and you see a girl next to you, go and, like you're smoking and like kind of blow it like by accident, kind of like, and she knows you're doing it on purpose. So she's gonna look at like, okay, I know where this is going. Where you going?
Okay. That's new. I never heard that. That's new.
Yeah, that's very common in Greece. I'm not saying whole
That's new.
Europe, but I'm talking about Greece. When the era I grew up in, it was different.
Right.
So that's why it's like that's what I'm saying. Like if we're outside in an open yard, let's say my backyard, for example, I bought a house or in my backyard, or next to the fire pit. Would you sit there and have a cigar? Not you having a literal cigar. We're having a cigar as a group. You don't have a smoke, like I said. You just hang out with us.
Yeah, I'd be there. No, I'd be there as long as it wasn't like I said. It wasn't because because even cigars, I can appreciate the smell of a cigar to an extent because it's sweet, right?
Mhm.
But again, over time, it would especially if it's in an enclosed environment, it could get irritating. So that'd be my only.
I know people who
with
have
that
gone to cigar
outside.
non-smokers who are literally cannot stand to smoke and everything like that, and have gone into cigar lounges and hang out for an hour or two, and like
It's a
don't-
much different experience from that of a cigarette.
oh yeah,
Cigarette like
What
smell.
I was gonna say
like,
was
yeah.
if the ventilation system is good at a good cigar lounge, that is everything. The ventilation system. If they have a good system working, you have no problems.
like
That
in
is
the-
comes down to it.
like
And that's why a lot of cigar places don't want to have neighbors because they don't want to put all the money in ventilation. The one I go to, they have neighbors around them. So they have one of the best ventilation systems in the area.
Right.
So keep that in mind. I'm not saying you need to go. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it depends on the shop, really.
right.
Gotcha.
If they're solo, they have nobody neighbors, they don't have a good ventilation system. If they have neighbors like a strip mall, they definitely have one of the best ventilation systems in Connecticut buys.
Yeah.
It's a big thing.
There's a
Right.
spot. There's actually a cigar spot not far from my house, and I've walked past a couple of times, and I like the smell. And what's even cooler when it starts to get warm outside, the cool thing even more is that front window display opens up,
Yeah.
so it's kind of like it gives that outdoor patio like feel
Hmm.
at the same time. So you could be walking down the street, and you'll see maybe 2 or 3 people sitting in a chair on the street, on the sidewalk in front of
Other shop.
the lounge. Yeah, in front of the lounge. And then you have maybe another 2 or 3 people sitting in chairs right where the window's supposed to be, have a conversation. You'll excuse yourself when you walk through, but when you smell that aroma, you'll be tempted like, yo, make some room. I want to join you guys or something.
Yeah.
No, yeah. It's
I know near me
a lot of people-
there's a hookah lounge, And especially in the summertime, they'll leave the door open. So like me and Doc, we used to walk by there on our nightly walks. And again, it is aromatic. I will give it that. No desire to go in there, but again, in the summer when you open it up, again, it has that sweet aroma to whatever the substance is. But yeah, but it's just a place for people to hang out.
No, it's one by my house. That it's a cigar bar, not a cigar lounge, cigar bar. There are two different things there.
Mhm.
So, and they have outside seating, and I'm not gonna deny, bro. Like it's nice being outside in a nice weather, 80, 90 degrees weather outside, having a cigar. Doesn't mean I have to have a cocktail. Sometimes I
Mhm.
do, sometimes I don't,
Right.
and enjoy that.
Do you do hookah?
No, I tried a couple times. It wasn't really my
It
thing.
wasn't your thing. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I just never really liked it. And like I haven't done it in years. If somebody offered me, like say anytime says, let's go do a hookup really fast, like, okay, I'll try it. I'm not gonna say no. I haven't done it since I was in my 20s.
Mhm.
That's when it was really popular, if you remember, like in early
Yeah.
2000s.
Yeah.
It kind of died out now. Like you don't really see hookah lounges like that anymore.
You find you can still find a few around here and there, but I think ever since the pandemic, it really kind of died out.
Even before pandemic, I saw them dying. I saw them running on the wall with those, like they were coming down fast.
Mhm.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because a lot of people were like, like they were
Well, didn't I guess the e-cigarette didn't that kind of take them out? Because
yeah, that's
it's
part of
kind of
it.
similar, right?
The vape kind of took them out a little bit.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
again, a hookah lounge, some of them mean it's hookah lounge or hookah bar. I mean, some of them have alcohol, but any vape shop does not have any alcohol. They have vape lounges, but again, that's another term. Just saying, it's a vape shop. You buy your whatever, your juice, your coils, your tanks, whatever, and you can chill there for a little bit if you want. But it's
Right.
not a place you go have a few drinks either.
Because
Right.
you got a liquor license too.
That's the other thing. And a liquor license is another top too. And also when they were cracking down really hard for a while, if you guys remember, if all bars was no smoking free. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
So me
Yeah,
of
especially in
finding
New Jersey, you got to a
yeah,
point where you had to go down to Atlantic City because I guess the hotel casinos they got an exception.
They got
yeah,
serious.
like me finding this cigar bar, I was shocked. I'm like, how'd you guys get through? Like simple, we're a cigar bar. Keyword cigar bar. That's why you don't see like only ones you see who allow smoke cigarettes in the bar are private clubs.
Mhm.
So
Because
you got to pay a membership. It goes forward under a whole different department now. I'm not sure. I don't know the laws behind it. I don't understand the laws, to be honest. Like that's completely out of my section. Like I know food. I don't know about liquor stuff. That's a completely
Yeah.
different
Like I
world.
said, I know the casino Atlantic City's that definitely open. Interesting. When we were in Puerto Rico, the hotel that we were in, they had a casino and it was totally smoke free. Like there was
That's
no
odd.
smoking section at all. So I thought that was pretty cool.
I guess that's how it is on the island. I guess how they have it set up down there.
Well, I know they're building a lot though. Like they're really trying to, bring more gambling and more spots. So again, in those areas where you have like that strip with the casinos and everything, they may allow it in certain sections. Just the hotel that we're in, they didn't have it. So
Ironically, most
that was
people,
pretty pleasant.
one thing I learned, I remember talking to some old World War II vets, a lot of sailors who served in World War II. People don't realize like how the Caribbean was like the spot to go on shore leave.
Mm.
You had, of course, San Juan, you had Santo Domingo, you had Havana, you had Kingston, you had Port-au-Prince. It was significant and a lot. And from what they always said, they had a nightlife. They had the clubs, they had the dance halls, they had the spots to go and have a great time. And when I remember hearing about those stories in the 40s and 50s, it was like, whoa. And I remember seeing some old pictures and videos of a lot of those same places. They were the places to go to. It looked like those were the places to go to. Like if you wanted to go on shore leave, if you were a sailor, those are the places you went to because you're gonna have drinks, you can have food, you can smoke, you'll have the best cigars, so on and so forth. So I can believe how some places, hey, have all these things, you're gonna bring people in.
Bro, like I know for example, like Vietnam era and down veterans, they were humongous cigar smokers.
Mm-hmm.
I would be surprised, and cigarettes too. But Vietnam and down era, They love the cigars. They love hanging out, and like you saw it during I was what movie was out Pearl Harbor. There were a whole scene that all of them are just sitting around playing poker and having a cigar in their mouth.
Yep.
So, but let's get into our final thoughts because we're gonna start wrapping it up slowly, guys. All right, Anton, you want to go first?
Sure. I like the fact that we had this discussion. I mean, it was great. I'm glad we had a chance to sit down and talk about this. It's easy for people to think that they will never ever be in a situation where it's toxic. And it's so easy to say, like, oh, I will never end up in something like that when they hear the stories. And then that person ends up in a toxic situation and they have no idea what to do to get themselves out. I look at being in a toxic passion relationship as a learning experience. What to watch out for, what to be mindful of, what to be aware of, clues, habits, little innuendos, what to watch out for, what to pay attention to never keep yourself trapped in a situation like that. And some people feel like, well, I'm stuck in a situation like this, I can't get out. No, there is a way out. And it's not that simple or easy, but you have to be willing to walk away. Because like my wife said, love should not have to hurt, no matter what side you're on. Having stability, having structure, having order is a great thing. Some people may say, oh, that's boring. But that's okay. I remember my wife told me someone thought I was boring. My sister-in-law, God rest her soul, stood up to the person and says, well, where's your situation? So he's boring. That's okay with that. Ain't nothing wrong with being boring. Boring means safe. Boring means trustworthy. Boring means honest. And people may feel like, I don't want to be in a situation like that. Okay, that's cool. But don't say anything or feel like you ask for help if you choose to be in a toxic situation. Because if you have a chance to have some form of stability, I know people who would jump on it in a heartbeat. And they're safe and they're happy. Sometimes boring is good. That's all I got to say. I know some words we're thinking about. Thank you.
Well, with this, it's kind of like the classic tortoise and the hare, right? I mean, certainly I've experienced passion to that degree, the excitement, the thrill, the dopamine rush, as Wife School talked about. All those things can, especially early in a relationship, it can be intoxicating. It just is. But can it survive the long term? Can you deal with the highs and lows that come with a relationship, the turning points in the relationship when you get older, when you're over 55 and you're dealing with menopause and ED and all other kind of things that, can affect people long term. What do you have at the end of the day? Who's going to be with you in times when it's most important? So, certainly, and I'm not anti-passion. I think you should do things in your relationship to make it to make it special. I think you should have date nights during the week. Yes, go on vacation. Get out of your environment and do things. Don't take your partner for granted. I think certainly be thoughtful and mindful of things that are important to them. Know your partner enough to know what things do they find important. And for some people like myself, I just like consistency. Just show up in season and out of season. Be the same person when you get up in the morning. Be the same person when you go to bed at night. I don't want to be coming home and knowing who I'm, am I dealing with a Jekyll Hyde personality when I get home. Just stay consistent. So that's work for us. But again, I think, you have to decide that, again, passion, to me, I put it this way. It's like an herb. It's like a spice. Pete would notice since he's a chef. a pinch of a very strong spice can really make a dish really nice. A handful, you can destroy it. You know, some recipes call for a pinch of salt. So yeah, a little passion, a little fire, even in an argument, a little makeup, loving, a pinch every now and then. Too much, and you ruin the dish. But do understand the fundamentals, the essential ingredients of what makes a relationship work. A lot of times you'll take for granted because it's like a foundation of a home. You don't know it's there until it's not, or when it gets compromised, then realize how weak it was. So build your relationship on a solid foundation. Trust, honesty, transparency, respect, duty, and honor. Those aren't sexy, but they do ensure that relationships will last for the long haul. And then every now and then, yeah, sprinkle, make it a little spicy, sprinkle a little something in there. Makes it all the better. But it can't come first. So that's all I got on it.
All right, thanks guys for coming up tonight. I appreciate it. Yeah. So let's do a quick schedule update. Let's get out of here. We are having a wrestling talk with a Spartan on Friday. Me and Anton are going to be chopping it up. This week's topic is going to be the cuts. 26, I believe, is it? Am I mistaken, Anton?
Around there, I think 25, maybe a little more, maybe a little bit less.
Yeah, this was a huge cut, more than normal every year.
Yeah.
So we're going to be chopping up. We're going to also touch base on some other things too. So definitely tune in on Friday. And on Saturday, the show I've been waiting for a very, very, very long time. The history of Call of Duty. From war games to Game and Empire. I know you're not a big gaming Paul, but I like to jump in on because I like somebody to kind of like be the referee, if you don't mind. Because you know what I'm saying?
I'll try my best.
And next week we are having a call-in show for the gray area on Sunday.
Nice.
So definitely tune into that. You guys will keep talking shit. Bring it. Here's your time. And next week we're gonna be talking about forgiveness or cutting them off.
Ooh.
So tune in for that. Except that this was the Spartan HQ Network. I am the Spartan. He is my man, Anton. My man, the president, aka Paul. As always.
Where's my step? Where's the outro?
I was about to do that. Thank you, Paul. I clicked it too soon. As always, stay fresh, stay safe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.